What is up, guys? I am back with another video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the 9-year-old iPad 2 and if it's still good in 2020. But before we get into that video, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, hit that subscribe button. I make lots of videos just like this, and I think that you guys would love them. So guys, I want to start off with the design of the iPad 2. The iPad 2 has an incredible design. It looks very good even by today's standards. It holds up very well when compared to other devices its age, and I actually think that it looks good even when compared to new Apple products. It does have a little weight to it, which most people see as a bad thing, but I think it makes it feel more premium when you're using it. Makes it feel like some kind of prized possession. The design of the iPad 2 is so good that it actually feels like it could be something new. It's something that you could put on display. It is a very premium, well-built design, and just very well done by Apple. It really doesn't feel like a 9-year-old product. It's built very well and holds up even in 2020. The next thing I want to talk about on this iPad is app compatibility. This iPad got its last update nearly 4 years ago with iOS 9.3.5, so it's not running the newest software to say the least. And it shows. When you try to download apps now, iOS 9 is generally the lowest that most apps will support on the App Store. So most apps will work with this iPad, but some of them, such as YouTube, will display an incompatible message, saying that the device is too old to work with that app version or that iPad. There is a very simple fix for this, though. You can watch my video on how to download incompatible apps up here, which I highly recommend for anyone who has an older iOS device. It helps out a lot. But yes, on the iPad 2, app compatibility can be a little bit of a problem. If you don't do the trick in my other video, it's usable, but you won't be able to get things like Netflix or YouTube and little things like that. Most apps that did work didn't run terribly, but they didn't run great either, which is to be expected considering that this iPad runs on the Apple A5 chipset, which is the CPU in this iPad, and it only has 512 megabytes of RAM, which is very small on phones and tablets in 2020. It's not that bad if you manage your apps. If you close out your background apps, it speeds up the iPad a little bit. It definitely helps, but it does not change that this iPad is not fast in 2020. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about for this iPad is media consumption. This iPad can take Netflix, YouTube, and Hulu pretty well when you use a compatible version, but you will notice lag, especially when using YouTube. Now, it's nothing that is going to make it unusable, but it is a little annoying. The UI in many apps is obviously going to be a little bit laggy, but it's not unusable by any means and is to be expected for a 9-year-old product. It's pretty good for watching videos, watching TV, reading books, and everything simple like that works well on this iPad. It's really what this iPad is for in 2020. I've noticed that it seems to work best when that's what it's being used for, and it's because you don't need all the newest stuff just to watch YouTube or TV, and especially reading books. Websites on the iPad 2 are slow. There's no getting around it. This iPad is just not good with many modern websites. It can use them, it's just slow. This is where the 512 megabytes of RAM really makes things bad. The 512 megabytes of RAM just isn't enough in 2020 for websites. You're probably better off trying to find an app of whatever website you're looking for. So weirdly, games on the iPad 2 seem to work a lot better than standard apps that you download. They can't be the kind of game that has the crazy graphics and stuff, obviously, but they can be casual games that are made to be simple. Games that are made to just be fun without everything new in them is fine. Most of these types of games will work without issue, but gaming is probably not the reason most of you would want to get this iPad, but if it is, just know that any app that you can download on the App Store that supports it will most likely work and it won't be bad. And if you needed any help with what apps work, let me know in the comments and I can try to get back to you on what kind of games and apps work with this device. Something that you can do to make your iPad 2 feel newer, work better, and even have better app compatibility is jailbreaking your iPad 2. Adding simple tweaks to shorten the animation can really help the speed of your iPad. Jailbreaking can really help out your iPad, and I highly recommend it to anyone who has older devices. So the final takeaway for the iPad 2 is that it's not great, but it's not bad. It does its job, and it does it fine. Apps and games on this iPad work fine when they're supported. Websites on this iPad are slow. And media consumption for the iPad 2 is definitely the best thing that the iPad 2 can do. So the final question comes down to, is it worth your money? Well, it's really your opinion that matters. If what you need your iPad for is what the iPad is good at, then yeah, it's worth it. But it's still a complicated answer because there's a wide range of things people use iPads for. But, in my opinion, this iPad is worth it if you're going to use it for things like YouTube, movies, TV, email, and casual games, and just basic stuff like that. That's what this iPad works for. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.